What happens when Ajax from Deadpool has a good heart and has to rescue his love from the Suicide Squad?
Nate was in Deadpool?
Find out next on Trees in Space. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trees in Space, the show where we watch and review all movies in all genres, and we tell you what the fans thought, what the critics think, and what we think. Was it worthy of a small forest, a grove, or just a stump to sit on? This week, in case you missed the thumbnail, we watched the 2025 action comedy Novocaine, starring Jack Quaid and Amber Midthunder. I'm Jason, and with me, live in person in the same spot, is Nate. Hey, Nate.
Hey, Jason.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm excellent. It's great. He came from Massachusetts.
Yeah, and now we're going to talk to you all about this weird-ass movie that I was going to pick, but Jason picked it before I did. So that means he gets to edit this hot garbage.
Well, let me tell everyone what the movie's about first.
Let's do it.
When the girl of his dreams, who's played by Amber Midthunder, is kidnapped, every man, Nate, who is Jack Quaid, turns his inability to feel pain into an unexpected strength to fight to get her back. And yes, that's where I'm getting Ajax from Deadpool, because he couldn't feel pain. So the movie begins, it's 2 hours long.
About minus 6 minutes.
They have to build up the character relationship between these two.
They do.
Before they get the girl kidnapped. And I think that took a little while. I think that...
Do you?
Yeah.
I feel like it was appropriately rushed. She shows up late to a team meeting, and you could tell that he has a thing for her.
Yes.
And then, within that same day, she's asking him to go out.
Yes, I thought she was she's pretty forward. We find out later on why she's this forward.
Yeah.
Spoiler alerts, there might be someone here. But I really like the scene because he went out with her, and I was thinking, she was like forward, and I didn't say anything because we watched it together. We couldn't really talk about it, but I was like, why is he saying no? Say yes to this woman. She's gorgeous. She's trying to go out with you. Say yes. Say yes. But I was really upset when he came back from the bathroom, and she was talking to that guy. I had no idea what she was planning.
Same. I thought she was just trying to be friends with poor old Nate.
Yeah.
And then when she interacted with the bully from back in the day and started kind of flirting with him, I was like, oh, damn, that
yeah,
what
it was
the fuck?
Rude as hell. I was like, what? Okay, I didn't see that twist at all.
No.
And then they did shots.
She did.
And
knowing what she knows about Nate, where he can't feel pain.
Right. And it was shots of
hot sauce.
Hot sauce, like ghost pepper sauce.
Yeah.
Or something crazy.
And then she put it on his tab.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And I am so glad that she actually asked the question while they were home alone. You can't feel pain, but can you feel pleasure?
Yeah.
And then she goes, I can feel pressure. Is that the same?
Well, I actually wrote in my notes here, do you think he could enjoy sex or his boner? Does he know if he gets a boner?
I don't think he can't feel it. I mean, he feels pressure. I figure he feel pressure in his dick.
But he can't feel a vagina.
No, you can't. So you can't. Can you really ejaculate?
You must go on forever.
You must, unless you get
tired.
But I
mean, I'm sure eventually,
just by
anatomy,
you might not feel it, but you just
right.
So you wouldn't be driven to have sex. I wouldn't think.
I would presume not.
Well, that would suck.
It would. I mean, poor dude doesn't eat solid food.
No,
because he's afraid he's going to bite his tongue and not know, which I thought was clever.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like whoever wrote this really did their research on knowing the ins and outs of whatever disease he has.
Yes. I think they understood the disease.
Yeah.
I don't think they understand the anatomy of the human body.
No.
You can't do those things even if you can't feel pain.
Great moment there, dumbass. It starts out with a profound misunderstanding of how the human body works and winds up with you shattering some old man's hand.
Oh, yeah.
The man gets an arrow through his thigh.
Yeah.
Through the bone of his thigh.
He could have missed the bone.
They could have missed the bone, I guess. And yeah, you're not feeling the pain, but there's a thing called blood loss.
Yes.
And I think he suffered that a lot. At the very end of the movie, they show how he...
Yeah.
But she... I don't think he could have got off. I don't think he could have. He wakes up the next day, and she leaves him a sign, and I think she's very sweet and kind, and then the bank gets robbed.
Yes.
And then the guy that really is the badass, the bad guy, who was fighting him at the end, the main villain,
the brother,
he can feel pain, and he went through almost as much hell as the guy that can't feel pain.
Sure did.
I don't give a damn. I was like, what? Who is the true hero here? What? And that, by the way, is Jack Nicholson's son.
Oh, do you think Jack Quaid is Dennis Quaid's kid?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
And Meg Ryan's.
And something I was kind of trying to figure out, and now that we just now talked, when they're getting robbed, they pull the manager, and the manager won't give up the bank code. And they're like, all right, let's grab the assistant manager. And I was in the moment, I was like, how the hell do they know that he's the assistant manager? It made no sense.
It did not make any sense.
Like, why, out of all the people in this bank, why are you grabbing this one guy? And then later, I'm not going to spoil it.
You might as well, because we kind of have to talk about other parts of the movie that's going to have
I
to
guess.
be fit into there. So.
There's a double cross.
Yes.
And it makes sense that these bank robbers did their research and learned who the manager was and who the assistant manager was to get the code. And then they used Nate's compassion towards the young lady to get what they want by pointing a gun to her head.
Right.
So that's how that all had happened.
Right. And then because the girl saw the dude's face, she had to be taken as a hostage.
Right.
That's how it played out. And of course, they come out and they shoot up all the cops.
Yes.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys. I mean,
I don't know how they were not shooting the cops. They were busting out the windshields.
Yeah.
And the windows and the doors, but yet the cops weren't getting hit until they stepped outside of the factory.
Mm-hmm.
A glass window isn't going to stop a bullet from hitting your body. I also want to know, they had okay accuracy, almost stormtrooper level accuracy in this first scene, this gun fight in the beginning. But in the end, they had severe, like, eagle eye level marksmanship to shoot these cops just below the plate.
Yes.
Just above the vest.
I said these plates aren't worth a damn.
Yeah, they were shooting everywhere and hitting. And it's like, where were these marksman level shots in the beginning of this movie? Mm-hmm. They would have been popping them all off. It would have been a lot quicker. There was a police chase, right? Mm-hmm. Nate steals a police car. Mm-hmm. Why is nobody moving? He's got his lights on. Why does nobody move out of his way? He's got to interweave in through traffic to get to where he's going.
I loved his reaction when he got shot, though. When he was driving.
Yeah.
That was pretty realistic. And then the other bad guy meets up with him, because that's his brother, first bad guy. So he goes to his brother's house that's booby-trapped, and that shit was hilarious. And he meets up with Mate there, because when the booby trap comes down with the spikes.
Yes.
The mace. He's like, what? What's that? He gets this big spike in his back.
But that's where we meet his online friend. So previously, or earlier in the thing, he's an online gamer. He has no friends. The only friend he has is this one dude he's never met, and he's getting ready to go to this art show with, I wish I remember, Cynthia or something like that.
The girl's name, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, well, I gotta go. Whatever. And then the dude goes, yeah, sure, I'm just going to fuck myself.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to fuck myself.
Oh, sure, yeah, I'll just go fuck myself.
But it wasn't an anger or spite, but if you're a gamer, someone who stops in the middle of a game, I got to go. Okay, I'll just fuck myself.
I guess I'm just going to go fuck myself. All right.
That was hilarious.
Screw me, right?
And I want to skip to near the end about this. The end, he's alive, and he's talking to his friend again, who is in the movie, by the way. And he has to go on a date again. And it would have been a perfect time to call that back.
It would have been.
He could have just said, no, I really gotta go. You're gonna leave me to go on this date? Yes, I am. Okay, I guess I'll just fuck myself. They could have called it back.
Right.
And they didn't.
They did not.
I was sad.
Once he kills the one of the 3 bad guys, he goes on a quest to find the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And in his attempts, he reaches out to his online friend, and his online friend finds out that this guy lives at this, or he finds out who the tattoo artist is because he recognizes a tattoo. He goes to visit this tattoo artist, and he's a big ass Nazi dude. And he's asking questions, and the dude's complimenting his work. And I thought that fight scene was brilliant.
It was.
Because he gets thrown into like a mirror or some glass, and his hands are all busted to shit, and he just starts punching the floor. And the dude's like, "What are you doing?" And he just goes fucking hog wild on this dude and just starts punching him in the face to the point where he can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, because he starts taking the tattoo machine and starts grinding into his neck.
And he says, verbally, I can hear him say this, "Oh, fuck no." Because he takes a tattoo thing to tattoo the address onto his hand. And I'm like, is that not really a thing? I guess it was too fast or something.
I was just like, really? You gotta be like, you can't find a piece of paper? You get like, he just happens, and you gotta dip that thing into ink. Did he dip it into ink?
No, he just
yeah, there's no ink.
He carved it into his hand.
It's not like a pen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to dip it like a quill and then soak the needles in the ink, and then you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess it had a fine or needlework or something.
Right.
But I did think it was interesting when the brother goes to the house. He's like, "Why do you have my brother's address tattooed on your hand?" And he's like, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to answer questions.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
in the spot, he was...
It was great because he didn't want to fight. You're right. He was the everyday man. He was confused. He didn't know what he was doing. He lucked up. He ended up trying to find his girlfriend, which he ended up doing. And the guy that has a girlfriend still had her alive. And she's like, "Well, let this guy live. Let him live."
Right.
And he was about to kill him. And then the cops that were in this whole show ended up coming there and shooting the bad guy in the back through the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought time had passed between that and the next scene where they got him in the ambulance and they cuffed him.
Yeah.
Did they not check on the other guy? Because he jumped up 2 seconds later and shot the cop in the fucking neck.
Apparently not.
I'm like, what? Where did that happen? What? Because I looked at you when I was like, this is over. There's 30 minutes left.
Yeah.
And you kind of just nod your head like you knew something was happening.
Right.
Like there's going to be a double cross.
I did not see old girl being in cahoots with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
That surprised the shit out of me.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, that makes sense why they took her. Why, and
mm-hmm.
and it was just, and she said that she was adopted. She bounced from home to home.
They did build it. They did that. They did that good. They did the setup good.
Yeah, I agree.
You were going to. I cut you off.
No, you're good.
And then so she becomes the badass because she's going to turn on her brother for the first time because her brother's killing people. Stepbrother or adopted brother.
Yeah.
But she's not that person, and I guess she really falls for Nate.
Yes.
And so she
in a very small amount of time, apparently. Yes. Well, we don't know how long that she's been working at the bank.
That's true. We don't,
because there's no back.
Right.
It just picks a point in time to tell the story from that point forward, which I think is probably going to be a thing that a lot of people probably bump heads with, is the fact that they select a point in time and move forward from there rather than developing the backstory of when she first started. They didn't do a flashback. They just kind of progressed forward without developing any detail.
And then she has a fisticuff fight with her adopted brother, and that was a badass fight too.
Oh, she got slammed in some bricks. I don't know how her back wasn't broken. In the beginning of the movie, he's talking to this guy. He just lost his wife. And he's waiting for the Social Security money to come through or whatever, and the risk of losing his house. And I was like, well, why are they doing this? Why are they talking to this guy? He has no significant meaning to this movie.
Right. Made me sad, by the way.
And then when he gets the slug in his arm, he goes to the hardware store. And that's where this guy falls into place again. And then he ends up slicing his arm with a box cutter and then just taking the slug out, dropping it, and then put some super glue in there to close it up. And then he hands him probably $10,000. I don't know how much hundreds in the stack.
Which was from his own bank.
Right. And he's like, oh, you probably want to launder that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, what's up with the guy? I want to know what happens to the old dude.
Yeah, and I want to know, like, if you're willing to do that for him, then why didn't you just approve his loan and, like, make him not have to make payments for 6 months? I mean, come on.
Well, look at all that money's insured.
I guess that's true.
So, I mean, you could rob a bank. The bank's going to get that money back anyway.
But see, that's my point. He got shot, comes up with a box opener, put super glue in it, close it together, shoves up with adrenaline and walked out. That's not how it works, guys. You don't just, he's not healed. He still has a hole in his arm and, wherever it hit and all that stuff. And it's still sore.
I expected, because he has medical journals. He reads because he needs to know how to treat himself in case he gets hurt.
Which is why he every food he gets is an ice cream. He can drink everything. He don't chew it.
And then something else I didn't catch, that Civic he was driving, the first guy that he killed, what happened to that money? What happened to that car?
That's what I was saying. What happened to that money in the car? How'd they get that money? Where'd it go?
Yeah, it doesn't get answered.
No, it doesn't. And I guess that's fine because he just kind of shows up. I think that's when his friend drove away in the motorcycle, and then he drove the other way. Yeah, that was good. He's a Harley guy. He's 6'5" and looks like Jason Momoa.
He looks like a 5'4" fat rock.
Yes, he does. Oh, by the way, he's what's his name on Spider-Man? He's Spider-Man's best friend in the newer Spider-Man. Yeah.
Okay, he gained some weight.
Yes, a little bit. So that's who that actor is, and he was great. I guess we're getting to the end of it. Unless there's something else there.
Nope. Actually, I was just looking at the end of it.
And he, so he beats the bad guy. But he beats the bad guy because the guy's just cruel. I mean, he takes his arm and for some reason puts his knee right here. The bad guy puts the good guy's knee right here. Well, anyways, he breaks his arm. But he breaks his arm. He breaks whatever.
Full compound fracture.
Yes.
Pops right out of the, yeah.
And I'm like, that's not, no idea how anatomy works. Because, I guess you can see.
It's got to be a lot of force.
Yeah, it has to be. How strong is that guy? And why, what's like this? And it's just hanging out there. Like, once it's hanging out there, you're not going to...
it's still going to flop.
Yes, and it kind of tear out. It's like, it's not a chicken bone in a raw chicken.
Though, I thought that was probably the best kill. I was like,
Wolverine!
Oh, Snick!
Yeah, Snick. Yeah, because he goes, and he sticks his bone up the guy's throat and kills him.
Yeah.
But prior to that, the bad guy's driving the...
ambulance.
And he goes, I'm sorry I wasn't clear, and he hits them both with electricity. Yeah. Why does he hit himself?
Yeah, it would have made more sense to just hit him in the head with two paddles.
Unless you got to have both paddles touching skin. Maybe you can't get... Oh.
This is where I think they could have had a much better ending, and I've been dying to tell you. So they fade to white, and then they bring him to the hospital, and he's a full body cast. I think the better ending is they fade to white, and they're at his funeral.
Oh, yeah.
And end it on a down note rather than an upbeat note. Because to me, that makes sense. Significant blood loss. He's fractured. He's got all this.
You can't feel the pain. Doesn't mean he's going to die from the injuries.
Right. And I think that would have been a better ending. It would have shortened the movie by 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, because he's going to see his girlfriend in prison.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And I agree. I didn't even think about that. But I still had a different ending because at the very, very end, he gets out of the hospital. He's all okay. And he goes and he's making something. And he cuts an orange up or an apple. Oh. And he starts chewing it. He starts smiling. And then it's over. I've been great if he started smiling and then blood started coming down his lip.
I would have liked that too. I would appreciate it.
That would have been great. Do you want to have anything else to say or should we move on?
I think we can move on.
Okay. Let's move on to the 5-star and 1-star reviews. The first 5-star review comes from Deb S. Jack Quaid is fabulous in this movie. Very funny and well done.
You know, I like him in The Boys, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to like him in this movie. But you know what? He did well. Mm-hmm. I think he very much held his own. He was a quirky character. He was kind of a similar character in The Boys, I think.
Right.
This kind of just offbeat kind of guy. But I think it was, for an assistant bank teller with a neurological disease, I think he did great.
Yeah, I think he did a good job.
The first 1-star or less comes from Varun C. Novocaine is an extremely sick and twisted film that spirals into chaos with little payoff. When it starts as a dark comedy and develops into a disturbing mess of absurd plot twists and uncomfortable scenes, it is not clever, it is not funny, it's just unsettling. The fact that Rotten Tomatoes has this rated so high is an embarrassment. Avoid it.
Okay. Obviously, he didn't watch like any part of this. I knew it was gonna be a violent type.
Yeah, how do you not?
Yeah. So that's your own fault to watch this movie.
Dumbass.
The next 5-star review comes from Thomas C. Just a fun, entertaining movie that doesn't drag, easy to sit down and watch an hour and a half if you like some needless violence and fight scenes. But if you don't watch 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah, fuck that last half hour.
Well, like I said to him, I think the second half of the movie went by a lot faster than the first half.
The next 1-star or less comes from Andreas D. If Timu made movies, this would exactly be like this. Bad acting, bad script, even worse direction.
Hey, the script was really good.
And hey, Timu isn't that bad.
Yeah. The last 5-star review comes from Dave B. It's just fun. Perfect movie to watch with friends and not have a care in the world. Great build up before the action starts.
Oh.
Quaid is really showing his potential in this film. Thumbs up for sure.
I concur.
I did too.
And the last 1-star or less comes from Neil Doe. Awful movie, slow to start, characters were poorly casted, and no character development. The scenes that were supposed to be funny were definitely not funny, and the novelty of the premise of no ability to feel pain was boring after the first few scenes. Wanted to walk out, but for whatever reason I didn't. I didn't know what I regretted more, going to the movie or not walking out.
The premise of no ability to feel pain, it wasn't boring after a while, but we get the idea that they have to keep,
I was trying to figure out how they were going to put the dude that can't feel pain into a movie. And the fact that in the beginning, she's like, oh, you're some kind of superhero then. Yeah. And then he goes all fucking Marvel on this shit.
And the fact he had to set an alarm or he pissed himself, that was
interesting, yeah.
Yes. So the last star review is the What the F review. It is from Ramona T. 5 stars. This movie was so good. No dull moments and easy to follow. Action from beginning to the end. Hoping for an amateur too.
Is there an amateur one? What movie did you watch?
Maybe it's called Amateur in a different country. I don't know why it would be called Amateur.
I feel like they would have called it Numb in other movies.
That would make more sense.
Or Senseless. That's another movie.
That's a good movie.
Senseless.
Yes. Well, let's move on to what Rotten Tomatoes rated this movie.
And you.
And you. Well, Rotten Tomatoes scored this film at 81%. And the audience, which is you at home, said we can do a little better and scored it at 85%.
Let's be fair.
Yeah. Hold on.
I wouldn't say this movie is an 80-some-odd%. I think they overdid it a little bit. But given the climate of the caliber of movie that is currently being released and produced, I do feel like this is better than most of the movies in the last 2 years.
I agree.
Because it seems like it seems like it's only Marvel and DC movies that are coming out.
Yeah, the standard is so low right now.
Yeah,
and there's nothing unique or different. It's like part 2, part 12, a sequel, a prequel, a remake. Novocaine's none of those.
No, it's its own interesting IP. It has no, I don't think I've seen a movie like this one.
No, except for, like I said, the bad guy Deadpool. That's the only movie I could think of where somebody had no pain.
Yeah, and the bank robbery was kind of the Dark Knight-ish with the Joker and the masks and such. But, but still, I mean, in any bank robbery movie, it's gonna follow that same.
Yeah, and I thought the bad guys were really good at being bad guys.
Yeah, I thought coming in as Santa Claus, it's a Christmas movie.
Oh,
oh my god! It's Christmas? No, it's
No.
January. You've been in a medically induced coma for 4 weeks.
Yeah. Let's start off our Christmas. So, I guess we'll move on now to what we rate this movie. So I guess I will start with what I think of this movie. I would recommend it to my surgeon. I think it's because I would ask him after he watched it, what kind of fractures does he have, and is he going to survive this? I mean, is this even remotely close to correct? I'm sure it's close, but you have to make it a little more extreme. I thought Jack Quaid did a great job. I know him from The Boys. Who's very that type of person, like in the first episode or the first season of The Boys, a very similar person. I thought the woman did a great job. I thought everyone did good. I don't think there was any bad acting in this whatsoever. I thought the script was fine. I think 2 hours was good, maybe 10 minutes shaved off. The more I think about it, the more I enjoyed this movie, and I would watch a part two. It's not perfect, but I'm still giving it 3 trees and a stump.
Now it's my turn.
I think that's very fair. I agree. I would definitely recommend this movie to my surgeon. I'd probably recommend this movie to most people. Unless they have an aversion to, complex fractures and penetrate, in the blood and whatnot. I thought Jack Quaid was great. I thought the lead actress, Thunder Bottom or whatever her name was, Thunder Thighs. I don't know what name.
She had them, and I'd be happy.
She was great. She was lovely. She was delightful. I thought the villains in this movie portrayed their role very well. I like the detective work that this amateur dude could do. I still think the ending it at his funeral, made more sense to me than anything else. Why end it on a positive? Make it like Empire and end on a down note. That's to me would have been the better. And then you don't have to worry about a second one.
And she gets pregnant with his child, and that child can't happen. That's part 2.
That'd be interesting. We didn't have to talk about this movie for me to already predetermine my ranking. I had this ranking probably about 7 hours ago. I'm not going to get full more into detail about it. I definitely think you all should watch this movie if you haven't. It exceeded expectations. Go in low, it'll come out high. With that, it is a very rare time that this happens. But I also agree. This movie is a 3 tree in the stump movie. Anything more or less would do this movie injustice. That's all I got.
Well, you heard it here on Trees in Space. He gives Novocain 3 trees, 1 stump. So do I, with no nudity whatsoever. But tell us what you think, what we should watch. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a comment, a follow. Put it on your Instagram.
Turn on your notifications.
All those things, because that's what we need. So you can feed the algorithm, so we can give you what you want. And and if you don't, I guess I'll just go fuck myself. And we will see you next Monday on Trees in Space.
What?